So our biggest challenge really was staying relevant with our clients. And that really goes back to 2001, the dot-com bust. We had a lot of clients who were internet startup companies at the time. They were popping up all over the place. And we had a very traditional business model as an IT support organization. It was essentially a break-fix model. But what really ended up happening is, as the dot-com bust hit and these companies started going out of business, we found that was a big threat to us as an organization, because as people start going away and there's no kind of revenue coming in for us as an organization and people are stopping to do projects, it really threatens your existence as that kind of company. So that's where we were faced with. The other challenge that we were really faced with was that our clients were evolving. It was a different mentality back then. Oftentimes there was a set it and forget it mentality. You could set up a computer network and essentially it was simple enough that it would run for a while on its own without having to intervene at all. And that was because the clients, I think at the time, still didn't rely on the technology nearly to the extent that we do today. Today, if there's any kind of interruption in technology, it's interrupting the pace of business in a significant way. So when we talk about downtime, we're not necessarily talking about the computer network going down affecting business. We're talking about somebody not being able to access an application, or an application running slowly, or a component of the network affecting a few people. Rarely do you actually run into the significant disaster-related downtime that a lot of people talk about in this industry. And that's the biggest concern for business owners that we found. So our challenge was, how do we meet those needs that's sort of a win-win for both organizations? How do we do what our clients want to do, which is as simple as just make it work? That was the big challenge that we wanted. Well, in order to just make it work, as the networks got a lot more complex, we had to do a lot more for the networks. So we had to make sure that we knew what was going on these networks on a regular basis, which meant that we had to now start doing something that small businesses never did before, which is monitor their networks. Have somebody know what's going on 24/7. Or at the very least, have somebody know what's going on during business hours, or so that you can function during business hours. And then we also had to start doing a lot more proactive work. And the tools to do the proactive work became a lot more advanced within the organization, within the industry, which made that much easier for us to do. Being able to provide that type of service, though, had we charged an hourly rate to do it, it would never have fit into a small business budget. That's just not... There's still this idea of a small business that would say, there's a certain amount that I'm willing to spend on my IT maintenance. And it really doesn't matter whether you're going to just do break-fix work for me and keep me up, or whether you're going to do proactive service that's designed to keep me up. There's a certain amount that I need to be able to spend. So our challenge was, well, how do we provide clients with what they need? If there's a certain amount of service that actually has to be done to ensure that their network simply runs, how do we do that at a price point that's actually going to fit within that small business budget? And that was our big challenge, and that was our aha moment, I guess, as an organization. That was how we became relevant and stayed relevant as an IT organization with our clients and brought new clients on. The challenge for us was switching the model, and that required not just having the technology that allowed us to do these types of things, but having the processes in place to make it work, and the people trained to effectively deliver it, so that we could actually deliver it at a cost that fit in that small business budget, and do it at a fixed cost so it wasn't variable for them, so that small businesses wouldn't get one bill one month or a giant bill the next month. And as we started doing this with clients, we actually ran into that with people who were feeling a lot of pain, because not only was their network not functioning properly, but they were getting stuck with these very large bills from their vendors, and they were unpredictable. So they would get a $2,000 bill one month, and then the next month they might get a $14,000 bill. That was a pretty significant jump for a small business. So what we needed to be able to do was figure out a way that we could do that at a fixed fee, and do it at a reasonable fixed fee. That really, it's almost like, I've often heard that Henry Ford's big invention wasn't necessarily the assembly line. His big invention was the $500 car. The assembly line was simply how he got there. And that's really where we were at. Our big invention was to really more of a marketing invention. How do we provide a service to the client that fits their needs exactly? And I think that we found that when we're able to do that, it's always the right decision for our business. It always allows us to do that. We started out providing this to existing clients and converting them from the old model to the new model, which was an easier way to go than start introducing the new way of doing business to an entirely new customer base. Once we got comfortable doing that and were able to prove the concept, it was much easier then to take that out and bring it out to new clients. And then our challenge there wasn't so much, hey, we've got this service that works, that actually provides everything that you want it to do for the right price. It was convincing them to do things a different way. Change, even when it's good, is still very difficult for people to embrace. It is hard for people to grasp the concept of doing things a different way. And so we felt that our biggest competitor was not any of our direct competitors. It was the understanding of the market, just getting the market to learn about a new way of providing IT support for their businesses and them becoming comfortable with it. So that was our big challenge. The biggest thing we had to do as an organization to make this shift was to change our processes. We had to change the mindset of the people here within the organization. That also meant that higher level engineers oftentimes had to do lower level work, and they had to do it through a specific process. And they had to utilize the technology where they might otherwise have had a little bit more freedom to just simply go about it the way they wanted to. In order to make it work, we had to be efficient. And so forcing people into those processes was probably the largest shift that we had to make as an organization.